The CDC study found that Black fathers, regardless of whether they live with their children or not, are often more involved in their children's lives compared to fathers of other racial groups, including white and Hispanic fathers. This one today, I need to talk to my beautiful Black men, my beautiful Black kings, fathers, father figures, sons, nephews, grandfathers, all the sorts. Now, there's so much that I feel like you guys face, so much BS when it comes to the narrative that's pushed about you guys. But because we have obviously the inside scoop, because we are part of the community, there's so many of us who know how involved and how truly instrumental and important your presence has been in our lives for women and men. You guys mean so much to us. I personally, when I would hear the narrative of Black father absenteeism and all that stuff, you know, I have some cousins and I knew some people whose dads weren't around. But for me and my immediate family, all these Black fathers are very Black and present, like very Black and present. I'm talking about my dad was the dad of the neighborhood, is the dad of the neighborhood, at my school trips, getting me tutors, taking me here, taking me there, dropping me off at basketball games and friends' houses and picking me up. I have a very active father, and for that, I am so grateful. But it's not a unique experience. And this is not to shun the others of our sisters and brothers who they have not got that. And maybe hopefully they got it from a stepfather or a grandfather who really stepped up. But I really need to give my Black men their flowers because there is so much that you provide. You are so important in our lives. I made a list of all the things that I truly felt like you guys and only you can provide for us, because there's just so much that people don't really give you credit for. And as your Black sister, I'm here for you and I love you. So yeah, let's get started. Now, the first thing that I feel like you guys provide outside of, let me make this clear too. I don't like the narrative where we reduce our Black men and their importance to their financial ability. Is it important? Yes. Do we need them to take care of us? Yes. But is that all that they are? No. So all the other videos, anything else on social media right now, it's about 50-50 and the man needs to do this. If he's not doing this, leave him. This is not about that. This is actually about character. The parts of Black men that actually build us up and make us into the beautiful women and the beautiful men that we are. The first thing is that you guys teach us a sense of responsibility, right? Of course, our Black moms, our Black mother figures have that too, but it's different. Like a Black man, he's going to make sure you're held accountable. He's going to make sure that you are being responsible because he understands that as he navigates this world, there's no such thing as him not being held accountable or him not being able to have responsibility to what he does and his duties. The Black man, probably more than any other race, understands that there are immediate repercussions, immediate and long-term repercussions for not being able to hold themselves accountable and responsible. And I think it translates into the house to where they're very structured when it comes to us. They make sure that we did this, we got that done. And sometimes it could be a little harsh, but it's because it's from a place of love. And that is one thing that I feel like my Black father and the Black men in my life has really instilled in me. I also think about it, like one of the first things that came to my mind when I think about you guys is the structure you provide, like the sense of structure and safety. There's a level of safety that only you can provide. Like a woman can't really protect me. Like if you want to talk physically, like, yeah, she's not really as strong as you. She's not really built for combat like you are. And no, I am not trying to put my Black men in situations to fight or have to protect me and be combative. But it's like even outside of the physical, there's still that energy from you guys where it's like, it just feels protective. When you're in the house, when you guys go to sleep last and turn off all the lights, I'm just thinking about when I would go to bed. I would go to bed, all the lights will be on. I wake up and they're all off and the house is just kind of reset. And I hear my dad's loud footsteps going around the house, just making sure doors are locked, like protecting us, like making sure that we're okay and that we're safe. Like that kind of experience is so, I want to say it's just such a special, special thing. And honestly, it's making me feel emotional because it's the small things that you guys provide that you may not even be aware of how awesome you are and how much you really lend to our self-esteem and our level of comfort. And I mean, for that, I'm eternally grateful for you guys. Like, I know you guys go through so much, and nowadays with people just reducing you to what you can provide and your finances and your build, are you 6 foot and over? Are you a certain kind of guy? Are you muscular? Like, no, I want to speak to your character, because that's what really has molded us, and we would not be here if it weren't for you. And also shout out to the Black granddads too, and the Black grandmothers, but we're kind of giving our men their kudos today. And I feel like you guys are also the cornerstone, right? Like the cornerstone of community. We all know an older or elderly Black man who's like an OG. And I mean that in the best of ways. Everybody respects him. Everybody knows him. He has a wealth of wisdom that he just shares, whether we want it or not. He's going to give it to us. So I'm just so grateful for you guys being so generous, so generous with your experiences, with yourself, with your life, with your resources. If my car breaks down, I truly believe that it would be a Black man who stops and who makes sure my battery is charged up, and he'll help me or follow me to the nearest mechanic. There's protection like that. I'll never forget too, when I was in the store, some weird man was following me around, and I knew it, I felt it. And I was kind of cool with the manager, not like crazy cool, but always would say hi and, you know, had a respectful relationship. And when I tell you this man he pulled his pants down, he was ready to tussle about me. And I'm like, oh my God, like of course I didn't want it to get to that point, but just the fact, like, I was alone. I'm a woman, I'm fragile out here. Like I can't come up against no man, but the fact that he saw that and he stepped in, it was just like, wow, that's that sense of community. Like I felt so loved. And you guys do that in a myriad of ways, not just showing up for physical combat or finances, but you do that in so many different ways. I want to say also, you give us the blueprint for how to treat women. And there's a lot of flack that Black men get with how they treat women. But I think a lot of it is bullshit, because let's talk about this very quickly and I'll get back. It's like, what narrative can be pushed to continue to dismantle the relationships that we have? And those are the narratives that are most funded, right? So if we hear music, if we see the most popular relationships, they're probably not the best examples of Black love and how Black men treat us, but Black men, personally, I've never been treated more respectfully and seen more than from that of a Black man. The way you guys treat your women, the way you love on your women, the way you speak life to us, the way that you care for us, the way that you look at us, the way that you nurture us and make sure that we're safe and we're feeling seen and heard and respected is like no other. And of course I'm biased because I don't have that many experiences with other men. I haven't needed to, because I feel like the Black men blanket me and I'm here for that. So I just feel like it's a sense of just overall comfort that you guys give us, and we need it. We need it. Your wives need it. Your girlfriends need it. Your daughters need it. Your nieces or whoever, your nephews as well, for sure. Little Black boys, they need that as well. Even your older sons, they need it too. So don't ever stop. And I know you couldn't, because it's just so deeply ingrained in you guys' DNA. Don't ever stop sharing with us and making us feel completely respected and protected, especially as women. I've never felt more safe than in the presence of a Black man, period. I also feel like you guys help foster independence in us, right? Because again, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like part of it is from good reason. Also part of it is from socialization and being always treated with some sort of racial injustice at the back of your mind, right? Is also another reason why you guys are so independent, right? There was times where we couldn't have that sense of community, because when we did, I think there was some wild law when too many of us are gathered on the block, it's a problem, because when we get together, when we congregate, we're usually plotting. Like that's kind of how it was made to how it was made to come off. And then a lot of our Black men were incarcerated and all that wild stuff, right? So think about all the things you guys have gone through. Mass incarceration. They highlight the school to prison pipeline, the father absenteeism. But in spite of all of that, you still prevail and you still are that anchor that we need. And I feel we need you. And I said that in one of my videos. It was different. I was talking about, I think, like dating and marriage and stuff like that. But outside of dating or wives, like we need you. You are necessary. You teach us. You literally teach us how to navigate this world as an independent person, not as an independent woman or being hyper independent. I don't need no man. You teaching me how to do it without anybody. But it's more like you teach us a sense of independence from just, again, like taking accountability for your life. It's like, again, I think because of our injustices, you have learned how to navigate life in the best way you can, for sure. but you've learned how to navigate it from a space of, I have to have me. I have to have my back because the world doesn't have my back. Society doesn't have my back. The government doesn't have my back, right? The police district does not have my back. Sometimes the women or the men in your lives don't have your backs, right? So you've learned from that aspect as well. And I think in a way, we always turn lemons to lemonade. And I feel like you guys have taught us how to navigate the world, really being able to take care of ourselves because you guys are so self-sufficient. And I also want to say, just from somebody who loves you, I don't want you guys to always feel like you have to have it together. And I know you guys are hearing this more, but I don't want you to feel like you can't cry to us or that we'll find you weak. I don't want you to feel like you have to take it all in and you just gotta continue to get up and muster up the strength even when you don't have it. We appreciate you. We love you. We know how much you fight for us. But Black man, I need you to relax. I need you to take some days off. I need you to cater to your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. We need you. And more importantly, you need you. But it's like you are one part of a larger whole. You are so necessary. So when you're not functioning at your highest capacity, it has a ripple effect. And I feel like me saying that, it's probably going to put more pressure on you, which I'm not trying to do. But I just want to highlight to you your importance and the fact that you are so necessary. And we can't function without you. We function at a very low capacity when you're not around. You see it. You know this. You know when there's single mother households or a woman doesn't have a man, and we can see that her life ain't giving what it's supposed to give. And it's not to, put anybody on Front Street or whatever, but it's just like we do so much better when we're together. We do so much better when we have some sense of unity and solidarity. And that's all this channel is about. It's like truly healing and healing as a collective. I'm not going to sit here and blame you for certain things. I'm not going to sit here and blame my Black sisters for certain things. Your problems are my problems and vice versa. We need to see it as one. So again, don't be afraid to kind of let your guard down. And Black women, if you're watching this, be easy, and I think a lot of you guys share my same sentiment, and I'm talking to the women, share my same sentiment where, like, if your man cries to you, you're not going to see him as weak. Now, we're not talking about every time he comes to the door, he's boo-hooing, but maybe he's having a depressive episode, and maybe that's just what's going on. You have to understand, or we both have to understand, that we are a traumatized group of people, and we wear our trauma as though it were a badge of honor, or as though it's the culture or it's tradition. It's not tradition to be strong and keep fighting. That's a trauma response. It's not powerful. There's no virtue in continuing to truck along and go to work anyway when you're dying inside. That's a trauma response. And I feel like the more we start to look at each other from a more vulnerable and a more of almost like a childlike perspective, like I can see through you, even though these Black men are statuesque or whatever he looks like. Inside of him is that little boy. Inside of me is that little girl. And I feel like we need to see each other from that lens more. So that way we can kind of give each other what we need without the pressure of having to be performative or judge because we're feeling overly vulnerable. Okay, so that's just my thing on, like, you guys, Black men, I want you to drop your guard, and Black women, I want us to be receptive, as we already are, but I think we could even do a better job. I also feel like you guys engage the kids more than anybody, like more than our women, in physical play. One thing the Black men gonna do is be outside with them kids, whether it's a soccer ball, a football, just playing. Like, you're excited to be out there. You're excited to run, race with the kids, or get them engaged in some sort of physical activity. And I think what you don't even realize is that you nurture that sense of competition, a healthy competition. Some of y'all take it too damn seriously. All right, but healthy competition for the most part. But also just like that sense of, I'm strong. I'm building my muscles. This is something that I can do well at. Because one thing about it too is, like, when you're teaching somebody how to run, or you're sparring with your son, your daughter, whatever, you're teaching them that I'm more than just education. Because Black men also in the study, they mentioned how you guys do homework with us. And that's one thing my dad always helped. He always helped me with my school projects and all that. More so than my mom. My dad was more like involved in that way. He made me read. He forced me to read the newspaper. Sometimes we would be at the library. I can't get out until I get the math problem right, or know what the percentage of 200 is. And one day I got it wrong, and he looked at me crazy. Or we're in the movies one time, and my dad is like, where are they? What setting are they in? What country are they in? What time? Because little details will flash up on the screen. So he made sure I was tapped in. And at some point I was locked in. So now I pay real good attention to detail. So I'm saying all that because you guys think you do all these little things, and I don't know if you think it's amounting to something, but no, it's amounting to something gigantic. I attribute so much of my intellect, so much of my thirst for knowledge and my curiosity about my people and my passion to my father for nurturing certain aspects of me. And I give him his flowers all the time, but he doesn't accept them. You know, he's just kind of like, oh yeah, and then he'll change the subject. But I want you guys to know it's the little things you do, like throwing the football with us or playing with us, staying up late with us, letting us stay up late and watch a movie with you, and just talking to us. Just talk to us. It really teaches us that we're such a dynamic person. And I say that because it's not just about, oh, I get a pat on the back when I do well in school, or I get a pat on the back when I people please or do something, just do that one-dimensional kind of thing. It's like you teach me that I'm more than so many other little things. Like you teach me, oh, I'm athletic. You're raising me to be smart. You're raising me to be respectful because I'm watching you. And that's another thing. Yes, we watch our mothers. We watch the mother figures, of course. But with the men, because you're the head of the house, you're the leader, we watch you. Male or female does not matter. There's nobody I wanted to be more like than my father. And of course, I had a mother who's active as well, but I wanted to be like my dad. And I still do, you know? So I feel like I think you guys understand that. I think you know that, but I'm just here to tell you, like, we're watching. Even the kids that you don't think are watching are watching. We want to walk like you. We want to talk like you. We want to work like you do. Wear the same boots you wear. Like, even if they're old or dusty, it doesn't matter. We just want to be like you. And think about that. You only idolize somebody that you really revere and that you have respect for. You're such a respectable man at your core. I don't care what's happened to you. I don't care what you turned into, what you did. You are such a respectful and a man that's full of character and care and generosity and protection and status. Like, you're just a special man. So many of you black men walk around with an aura on you. You could have no money in your pocket. You can have no money in your pocket. You walk around like you that, yeah, like I'm him. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, sometimes you'll see the ones with the sloped shoulders and all that. You know, that's everybody. But I feel like us more than anybody, we gonna walk around like that you're that guy. And the black women, we do it too. But something about you guys' aura is just like, ooh, oh my God. Like, you just know you're in the presence of a man, whether you are wealthy or whether you ain't got it at all. All right. Now, I also wanted to mention something else. Damn. This is what I forgot to say. So I want to be and remain sensitive and realistic around the fact that there are some of us who have not had great experiences with men, with our fathers, our uncles, and just men in general. And I want to tell you this. If you have not had an active father or father figure, I want you to understand that I'm trying my best, number one. When I say this, is that if your father truly understood how special and how sacred it is to be chosen to be a father, I think he would have been. Whether he moved on, chose to be a dad to other people, or maybe he passed away when you were young, or maybe he just outright neglected you, or you never even knew him, right? Or maybe he had some really unfortunate circumstances that stopped him. But regardless of what it is, I really hope that you can find some sort of peace in that situation, understanding that not everybody who has a child is ready to be a dad or ready to really be truly involved in somebody else's life. Because there's some of us who don't have our shit together and still bring the kid and still try to give the kid the best life we possibly can. But there's some of us who life is already too much. And then to add a kid to it, it just makes it over. It just takes us over the edge. Right? So I just want you to keep that in mind as we try to go on this healing journey together. It's going to be a very sensitive thing, but it's something that I feel like we need to talk about, right? Like, we need to talk about the fact that you may never get the closure you wanted from that black man, or why he did what he did, or why he didn't do what he did. And where does that leave you? Does that leave you open to continuing to be depressed and feel less than and feel less worthy because of it? Or are we going to try our best to just understand that some people, they just don't get it right? And it's a complex thing, but it's also, we can simplify it. Because at the end of the day, we have to start to use some of the things that we've gone through we have to rewrite them, I should say. You get to rewrite it. You get to be the author of your story. And here's where it can turn from something that felt very sad and extremely just like self-defeating to something where you derive a little bit of power. Right now, maybe you can choose a really good father for your child so that they get to live that and feel that, and vicariously you get to see that. And that was the situation with my mom. She happened to choose a really good child's father. My parents were never married, but my dad is a fantastic father. And she didn't have that. And I feel like it healed a part of her inner child by seeing me be loved, and so a father so deeply involved in my life. So that's my wish for you. And if you already have the child's father who's like your dad, who's absent, you know, again, it's just a lesson, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing right or wrong about the way you're going about it. There's nothing that you need to be punished for. There's nothing you need to feel bad about. It just is what it is. It's your environment. That's how you were nurtured. So you went to go and repeat that same cycle. That's what we do. We're humans. There's nothing terrible about what you did or what you didn't do. But I just want to tell you that you do get to choose how to rewrite your story. And I want you to know that if he understood the true value in having a child and how special and unique and beautiful of an experience it is to raise a human that's going to go out in the world by themselves one day, he would have put the effort into it. Right? There's some things you may not know. Maybe they suffered from mental health issues, substance abuse issues, right? And some of us felt like, they chose drugs or alcohol over me, right? And I have a very close connection with that through cousins and just on my own experiences with people in my family who I felt like were in the streets or chose drugs or chose alcohol. And it's like, I've grown to have a little bit more compassion because I understand it's truly a disease. It's a sickness. And we could say, no, you should be stronger than that. You should care. But I mean, it's more difficult than that. If it was that simple, they would. Nobody wakes up and says, you know what? I want to be a shitty parent. I want to traumatize the hell out of my son today and the hell out of my daughter by the way I live my life. I want to be absent as hell. Nobody's saying that. So I think if we allow them grace, I think it frees us. Remember, forgiveness is for us. It's like if you choose not to forgive your absent father figures, or those men who have violated you or hurt you in whatever capacity, it's like you drinking poison and expecting them to be sick from it. You're only making yourself sick. And us as Black women, and Black men, it's so important that we guard our health, because again, mental health issues can manifest themselves as physical issues. We can literally give ourselves sicknesses just by stress that has gone unchecked. So we don't need any more of that. We already have so much against us. So the one thing that we can control a little bit is our minds. And we got to really be a true guardian of it. So that's my spiel. All right. I'm not forgetting you guys. I love you guys. And I want you guys to really move forward from this in a way that you feel like you can truly navigate the world how you want to do it. And that's just the silver lining in it. Like, you get to kind of write your story however you want it. Right. So write it as you as the victor. Write it as you are the one who saved you, and then you had other people come in, right? Maybe you have some really good friends, really good aunt, or really good uncle. They're a blessing, right? So let's look at our life from all the things we have versus the things that we don't. And again, I understand maybe you're looking at me as though I'm coming at this from a place of privilege because I've had so many good experiences with men in my life, and I understand that. But I have a very close connection to my cousins and to my friends who don't. So I feel that, and it hurts. It hurts me too. So I can only imagine how you're feeling, but I don't want you to be in those shackles anymore because you deserve to be free. All right, so back to the video. Okay, before I go into that, because I forgot, the last thing I want to mention is that overall, my sentiment toward Black men today will always be what it's been. You're necessary. We love you. You're the most attractive man that walks the face of this earth, and that is a fact. I will tussle with anybody about that. There's nothing more attractive than you and me together, right? But I'm giving you your flowers. There's nothing more attractive. And I just need you guys to know that. I also want to shout out, I don't know if it's Pick Rex. I pinned his comment in my last video because he was, I didn't know if he was just trying to talk shit on my post or what. So I was ready to tussle, right? But he was like, you mentioned only women and the black men are being erased from the lineage and blah, blah. And I hit him back. I'm like, okay, so are you angry at the video or can you get the message? So I'm still a little bit operating from my ego. And then he was like, no, I am offended because I feel like black women are so used to black women holding it down that you forget about our importance. And honestly, I want to shout out to him. I want to let you know, and all my brothers, all my black kings watching right now, I am not above your criticism as long as it's constructive. Right? I'm not here for the bullshit, but as long as it's constructive, I'm not above it. And I want you to know, feel free if you feel like I'm not including you. And I also told the guy, like, my channel in its inception was about making a circle or a group for black women. So my language was always centered around like women. So you'll see me talk about grandmothers and wives and us a whole lot. But as my channel's growing, I'm like, you know, I need to include black men as well. So I just want to apologize to any of my black men who felt excluded or felt like I wasn't being inclusive, because that is not my aim at all, right? I'm viewing us as one. So that was also the inspiration for this video, especially, that comment, but also because I feel like you guys need more flowers. I'm tired of seeing the BS, the podcast. I'm tired of the podcast bashing you guys, bashing us too, but I'm gonna keep it to you guys right now, bashing you guys or talking about I need other races of men or black men don't treat me like this. Like, you know, and I understand and I get it. I understand as a black woman, I get it. But that is not the totality of us all. And we cannot generalize us all. We are not a cookie cutter. There are so many different experiences. Me personally, I've had an overwhelmingly great experience with black men, including those that I've dated. The fathers in my family, the uncles, the grandfathers, but also men that I've dated. Yes, you run into those 2 or 3 knuckleheads or people who aren't the best for you, but I've had a wonderful experience with black men. That's why I'm not going nowhere. All right, so if you guys found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And shout out to all my new subscribers. You guys got me over 800 subscribers. And I'm so excited. As I always say, I have so many plans for this channel. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you guys don't push this content out, nobody's going to hear it. So please, if you really like what I'm saying, comment. I love to talk to you guys in the comments, subscribe, and you already know I will be back very soon with some more heat. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.